Hello, bonjour, and welcome to the Intuitive Wellness Experiment podcast, where we explore ancient wisdom and the transformative power of intuition, self awareness, spiritual sovereignty, and empowerment. I'm your host, Christine, also known as the Cosmic Doula, and in each episode, we embark on a journey of self discovery and growth, diving deep into the realms of intuitive wellness. In our solo episodes, I'll share my personal experiences and insights of intuitive living, offering you practical tips on heartfelt stories from my own journey. And in our interviewed episodes, which we have today, I'll connect with some inspiring individuals who have embraced their intuition and transformed their lives, inviting them to share their wisdom and experiences with us in the journey of being and feeling well. So whether you're in the beginning of your journey, seeking to deepen your connection with your intuitive self, this podcast, and as your cosmic doula, I'm here to support you every step of the way. Join me as we explore the profound possibilities of life guided by your intuition and empowered through self-awareness. Y'all, I am super excited to bring y'all today's guest interviewed episode with my dear sister Sesheta with Sesheta Weaves Rainbows. This was such a beautiful conversation about so many things, about intuition, about reclaiming our intuitive gifts, about different healing modalities. And I'll let you listen all to it in the next segment once we get into the interview portion of this podcast. But Sesheta is a powerhouse, and I can't wait for you all to meet her and receive some medicine from this sacred medicine woman, master beater, weaver, holy fire, Reiki master, rainbow warrior. She's just amazing. Can't wait for you all to check it out and let me know what you think of the episode. But let's get into it. Hello, everybody. So I have Sesheta with me today, joining us on the podcast. I'm super excited to have my dear friend, my dear sister, as we like to say, with us on the podcast. Sesheta is an amazing, amazing powerhouse of a spirit, of a woman, of a being, a medicine woman, master beater and weaver, holy fire Reiki master, warrior rainbow, somatic healing artist. But I would love you to share more about yourself and to introduce yourself to the audience, if you could.
Hey y'all, I'm so happy to be here with you, Christine. This is like everything. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of this journey that you're endeavoring on with this podcast. Just seeing you shine is just really awesome and beautiful to behold. Hi, y'all. My name is Sesheta, and I am all the things that Christine said, but I'm also a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, a sister. I am a human, first and foremost. And, using tools to heal my life, heal in real time, heal my life in real time, and turning that around to hopefully help others be inspired to do the same, because most of us are doing it. Most of us are doing this work on our own, quietly sometimes, and without accolades and without awards or even acknowledgement. And I want to hopefully be an example of what it can look like, even if it's super, super messy.
Yeah,
Because that's what it
that's
is.
life.
That's
Life is
life.
messy.
That is life. And so I love the rainbow. I have always loved the
Mm,
rainbow, and from when I was a little girl. And so color has always called me.
mm,
And
I
so
love
when I
that.
started learning, yes, when I started learning about all these metaphysical ideas and concepts, and they brought in color and how it connected to our chakras, the chakratic system, how it connected to sound, how it connects to beauty, nature, it just made so much sense to me. And so that's basically the foundational inspiration for everything that I do.
Wow.
It shows up in my jewelry, it shows up in my sound healing, my colorful bowls. it shows up in Reiki because I feel like the energy of the color is also the vibration
Mm,
of the healing that we need because it connects to the
mm.
Socratic system and to nature and to everything that we see around us. So, yeah, I feel
I
like that
love
is
that.
Reiki in a nutshell.
I love that, and it's connected to your name and my contacts. It's so
Yeah.
funny when your your name comes through, it's like, "Sesheta Rainbows," because I have a rainbow next to your to your name. So, even the
Yeah.
voice would say, "Sesheta Rainbows," and I love that, you've connected so deeply with colors and
Yeah.
the magic that's in colors and the healing properties, like you said, associated with the chakra system. And just
Yeah.
today, it made me think of a conversation with my daughter. We were using colors to help her throughout school. And I was like, what
Yeah.
color are you using? And she's using green. And so she's imagining when to switch her, her aura, her red fiery nature around. She's using green to calm it, to
I
use that.
love
So
that.
the power of the rainbow, the power of
Yes.
colors, I love that so much.
Yes, and how it connects to the babies, like how it
Mhm.
makes this work tangible for even an infant up
Yeah,
into an elder. It's just like, multi-level information, multi-level knowledge. It's just, I love that. I love that. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be really, really simple, but yet
yeah,
super, super powerful.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When you say that, it makes me think of Reiki, and I'm still wrapping my head around what Reiki is and how we can use. But that description, what you just described, is what it means to me. It's something very simple, but it has tremendous power. So, can you share with our audience what is Reiki and what
Absolutely.
is your practice with Reiki, being holy fire Reiki?
Oh, yes. So there are different lineages of Reiki, but in a nutshell, Reiki is subtle energy healing. And
Mm,
the idea is that there's energy all around us. We are all vibrating constantly at all times, and everything around us is vibrating, even things that seemingly aren't alive, right? So we all emit this vibration. And so through Reiki, which is considered the highest form of energy, the purest form of energy coming from Most High, coming from the Creator, from Great Spirit, that this energy has the ability to find where your energy may be lacking, may be leaking, may be in need of bolstering, in need of rejuvenation. And that energy is, I'm a portal for that energy, right? So
mm,
we're all portals, but I have
mm,
been initiated into holy fire lineage. And that means that I hold space. I open the portal for the energy to flow. It knows
mm.
no distance, it knows no time. And once I open that portal, connecting to Most High and in honor of you, calling your name, calling in your benevolent um, elevated ancestors, your guides and protections, then that energy, they know what you need. Most High knows what you need. I don't need to know anything about what you're going through. You don't even have to tell me anything. And that's what I love about it. It doesn't
Yeah.
need words at all. It really just is a space. I'm holding space
Mm,
for you as the healing flows directly to you. And using that in my practice and sound healing, I feel like it's more tangible because of the sound. So
mm,
your body hears something, and
mm,
it relaxes more, it opens more, it allows the energy to do what it needs to do without you getting in your own way. Basically, that's
mhm.
how I would describe it. And I felt it so strongly the first time that I had sound healing and also Reiki, holy fire,
Yeah,
because
can you
I
share a little bit more of your journey into, what brought you to Reiki
for
and kind of
sure.
where it fell in your spiritual, journey?
Yeah, so I am a sacred woman. I actually trained and learned under Queen Afua when I was in my
Wow.
early 20s. So I would say it was 1999 was my class, the
Mm.
second class of Sacred Woman, and we met
Oh
in
my
person.
gosh, right before Y2K.
Yeah, Literally, literally. And it was like I got what I needed right before the world shifted in a way, which I
Yeah,
love.
for sure.
Yeah. And so at that time, my husband and I were both involved in a shrine. It was a temple in Brooklyn called Smaitawi.
Mhm.
And we were both, it initiated into this whole journey of metaphysical, holistic healing and
Beautiful.
using your knowledge of self to heal yourself through foods,
Mm,
through numbers, through colors,
mm,
all the things that I said that I already loved from a young person. So it just drew me so immediately. And
mhm.
so my husband actually was the first one to learn about Reiki, and that was the Usui lineage. And he was initiated as a master.
Oh,
And then,
wow. You're
yeah,
both Reiki healers.
yes. So he then initiated me into Reiki.
What?
Yes. And so I, at that time, so this was my early 20s, but honestly, I would say that even though I was blessed to have the exposure to the energy, I don't know if I really, really got it. I
Got it.
mean,
Mhm.
I think intrinsically,
Mhm,
intuitively in my body, I got it, but I don't think I really like embodied it, which is, I think, totally different.
mhm.
So over time, imagine fast forward, I had a couple kids in between, living life, just
Was
going
this
throughout
before or
my life.
after your kids?
This was after my first son,
Okay.
that I was initiated. So yes, I'd had my oldest,
Mhm,
and then I had three more in that time frame.
mhm.
And fast forward to 2020. Not that I was always using my, the everything that I learned to raise my children, to grow my family, to help me to survive,
Yeah.
but I don't think I had really moved from survival to thriving.
Yeah.
And when 2020 happened, it really it stirred something in me, like so many of us. And so, like right before the Great Migration, I
Mhm.
think
I love
I
that.
was like um, a little bit ahead of that. Like I sensed something was shifting, and I felt like now's the time to do something different. And if I'm going to do it, I'm young enough to have the energy to do it. I'm, a yelder. I'm like on the
Yeah, I
younger
love
end of
that.
the yelder age range, so that I was like, okay, now's the time to embark out and do something different if I'm going to do it. And I started taking regular meditation sessions and with a woman who is a holy fire Reiki master.
Mm,
And when I started taking these meditation sessions, she also introduced me to sound healing, and it was
wow.
all of this was virtual because this is
Mm,
2020, so everything was
okay.
shut down. So this was
Mhm,
completely on
mhm,
Zoom.
mhm.
And the difference I felt between Usui and Holy Fire was I literally felt it in my body. Like
Mm,
like my whole body would be tingling and
mhm,
vibrating and pulsating and cold and hot, and it was just so much a physical experience that it was so
mhm.
different to me than what I'd experienced before. And I knew I had to, I was like, I need this, whatever this is, I need this. And so in 2021, well, actually in 20, I think 2020, and then into 2021 was when I initiated into and became a master in Holy Fire. And once I did that, it was like, it was on, because then I was able to get a set of sound bowls. I was gifted a set of sound bowls, which was
Wow.
awesome. Yes. And I knew that I wanted to not only continue to use it for myself, but I
Mhm,
wanted to share that with everyone and as many people as, who were interested. And, I don't know if people really understood that at the time. They didn't know what it was.
mhm,
I was still learning what that was.
mhm,
But after offering it and doing it and practicing it and having the ability, people who like yourself, other sisters who just supported me and was like, come, what are you doing? Let's
yeah.
do it. Let's add this to what I'm doing, and
Mhm,
getting the opportunity to share it. And I feel like it is just becoming more and more, it's growing, it's evolving, it's blooming. And that just makes me
so
so
needed too for such a time as this.
excited.
I feel like in this
Absolutely.
day and age to for you as a Reiki master to hold the space. Sometimes we just need somebody to hold the space for us, to have that intentional time to sit down, to invest in ourselves, because that is an exchange and that's energy, right? Just
Yeah.
taking the time to investing in yourself, even if you can't make it live, that is
Mm.
opening a portal of some sort. And
Yeah.
so to hold that space and to allow what wants to come in. I think it's so necessary with the chaos and the whirlwind of the world and of the nation and of the political, cosmic, all of it right now. I think that is just so important for us. And you mentioned prior to 2020, you were surviving, but this kind of allowed you to thrive. And
Yes.
can you share a little bit more of that? As a mom, and a lot of, my mission is geared towards Black mom and finding themselves. And it sounds like similar to me with yoga, you found yourself through
Yeah.
going from surviving in the mundane to taking a next level to thrive. And can
Right.
you just explain some of that journey of in motherhood, in that transition of just, going through the motions of surviving, how this is a supportive tool for you to thrive?
Oh, absolutely. It has been it really was, like I said, it just took me from being used to sacrificing myself,
Oh,
believing that
girl.
that was I know it's like need some sound,
Whoop,
that that
whoop.
was how to be a good mom, you know.
Yeah.
Being a good
Oof.
mom was, even if
Girl,
I
girl,
didn't
girl.
feel like it, I was going to make myself do the thing. I was going to make myself do all the things. And how I finally realized that in 2020, it was like the beginning of understanding that. I'm still
Oh,
unpacking
for
all of
sure.
that, but it was the beginning of recognizing that that was actually a detriment to myself and everyone,
Mm.
because I was angry. I've been angry, right? Like for so many reasons, but I was not a joyful, pleasant mom. Like I wouldn't say that I was, horrible mom,
I get
but
it.
at the
I get
same
it.
time, I was like irritable. And
Mm-hmm.
how they say that anger in Black women actually is a sign of depression. And so
Yeah.
that really, really struck a chord with me, literally and figuratively. And
Mm.
it made me have to understand that I needed to do something different and that I needed to be different because, my children were already, at a big age. And, I wanted to make sure that while I still had them under my roof, I was blessed that 2020 had us all here in my house. We were all here. And I recognize that that time is short, and that it's precious, and that it won't be forever. And so it helped me
Mm.
to begin to turn around that time together to help them see someone who not only
Mm.
completely shifted her life and like turned it upside down to the point where everyone's like, well, what are you doing? What's happening right now? To now them seeing me, have a business that I'm promoting and talking about and actually practicing. They see me doing the work. They're witnessing me do it. They're
Yeah.
feeling the energy of me doing the work because I'm playing the bowls in the house, and it's traveling and vibrating in this space. And hopefully, I believe that it's shifting the energy in this space.
For
So
sure.
all of that has helped me to not only begin the journey of taking my healing to the next level, but also helping me to be a better, stronger mom, because I'm understanding and really embodying the fact that I need to put myself first. And that might mean that no is the is the right answer.
Mm.
That no, I can't take you to that party. No, that's not going to
No.
work for me. That event tonight, I know all everyone's going to be there, but I just can't do it tonight. Like I need to
Mm-hmm.
rest.
Yeah.
And rest has been huge. Trisha Hershey and the Nat Ministry has
For
been
sure.
a huge movement that spoke to me before I even really understood what that meant too, because
Mm-hmm.
that was what I was craving, rest. And so, in
Mm-hmm.
2020, I also left my job of 15 years to begin my company, begin my own business. But at the time, I didn't
Beautiful.
know that's why I left. I left because I needed a break. I needed time to find me, time to rediscover my inner child who I felt had been neglected all this time. And I feel like that is an echo for so many of us Black women, Black moms
Yeah.
out here, that we are finally realizing that we've been neglecting ourselves
Ugh.
to a detriment of ourselves, to our families, to,
Mhm.
our legacy. And that by turning everything on its head, and by resting more, by doing all the self-care things, the cliche self-care, but it really is about self-care. It really, really is. And so the more that we lean into that, I just feel like that is how we're going to empower ourselves. So I feel like my sessions, my sound healing sessions, the community healing sessions that I hold are an avenue that makes it affordable, makes it
Yeah.
reachable for those of us who, can't afford to have a private session on our own, or, can't get to an in-person sound healing session, don't even know where to find one. It's
Right.
like it makes it
Exactly.
accessible, and makes it a possibility, and then helps to create all these things so that they can show up in our lives, so that, oh, it's like, okay, universe is like, oh, she's into sound healing. Then all of a sudden, right there in front of you, something's going to show up in your
Yeah.
neighborhood, in your locale, that you can go in person and experience it. Because honestly, in person, there's nothing like it. But
Mm.
like I said, virtual is a really, really good second. And so it offers me the ability to reach so many people that I probably wouldn't if I didn't have this option. And so it's like it almost makes me grateful for, the panorama and everything
Yeah.
shutting down, because
For
it
sure.
has given me an additional tool to reach those that I really believe need the energy and the work the most. So,
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know I've been a witness to your amazing power of Reiki and sound healing, and it is beautiful. It's transformative. It's something that I feel continues way beyond the actual practice of it or being in it. I feel like we recently had one, I think in the beginning of Aries season, the starting of the season, and I'm still feeling it. It's still coming through. It's still working its magic. And I did have an option pleasure to attend a live sound healing retreat, and it was absolutely amazing. Like you said, it is a different vibration because you can feel the vibes, especially if you have a good set of headphones on, your environment set. It's different, right? The
Yes.
duality of it all, right? Being in your home, being in your space, in your whole environment is something that you can't experience if you go to a live in-person event. But
Right.
going to a live in-person event and feeling the vibrations of the sound bowls and um processing everything, it's just totally different. So I invite you all, if you do have an option to attend a virtual one, like Shashetta said, please do that and watch and look for different in-person ones popping up in your ethers or your in your neighborhood. And if you feel called, I invite you to attend that because it could be a really supportive tool for you on your intuitive journey. And do you find, I know in the podcast we talk a lot about, or throughout Zen Wellness Space, connecting to your intuition and intuitive wellness. What does connecting to your intuition first look like for you in the different modalities that you like to explore and tap into your intuition, if you would like to share?
For sure. Oh my goodness. So I think in the beginning, I remember, I just want to share that I remember when I was younger, my favorite stories were any kind of stories. I love mysteries, first of all. I loved
Mm.
mysteries. And any mystery that actually, Mary Higgins Clark, I don't know if anybody knows that author, but shout out to
Let us
her.
know in the
Yeah,
comments if
exactly.
you do.
Shout out to her. She always had a psychic that would help
Ooh,
solve the mysteries, and
what?
I loved it. Like I loved everything about it. And I was always, again, like, your soul, yourself, you always know. And the longer you are on this journey and the more you discover, the more you realize you've always been that person and you've
Yeah.
always been drawn to
Yes.
it and the way it shows up in your life and has shown up in your life. And so that's why I shared that story, is that like I've always
Yes.
been drawn to psychic energy, intuitive energy, and what that meant, and being like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had that, right? And so when I started hearing, this idea that everyone has this and everyone can tap into it, all you have to do is be able to trust that you do and trust that
Mm-hmm.
you have the ability to do it. And so it began to open this world up about, do I trust myself? Do I actually, believe that I have access to this thing called intuition that flows through everyone and everything? And getting quiet and being still, being blessed with the time to rest and be still and meditate every day, for a really long time, and during the shutdown and after I left my job, it was opportunity for me to focus on me. And I felt like that was the first time that I really, really started to tap into what that was. Like I've always had really vivid dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and so those would come all my life. I would have really, really significant dreams. So I would say that that was one of the first ways that it showed up in my life. But it was kind of a thing, like, I feel like in our culture, in Black culture, dreaming is the thing. Like that's not really unusual, or at least I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like it was unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But meditating and having visions, now that was totally different. That was like being awake and aware and having a dream. And so that was really something that became, thankfully, something that became regular when I started doing my meditations and doing yoga and having sound healing. Like it started to literally wake things up in me. And I feel like, even though I was having those visions and having these opportunities to have these glimpses of, flashes of insight, it still boiled down to how much I trusted myself, how much I believed that it was real, that I
Mm-hmm.
believed that it was actually happening. And so most of my work, more recently, has been building that trust within myself and learning to know that I know what I know, and
Mm-hmm.
that if I get a hit, they call
Yeah.
it, I feel it in my gut, if I dream it, if I get a
Mm-hmm.
vision, then it's really about just wait for it. Like I may not understand it right now, but just give it some time and it might show up. And then I started reading cards and tarot and oracle, and that was another way that I felt that spirit was communicating with me. And
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about in our other sessions, the animal kingdom communicating with me. And,
Yeah.
all of us,
Mm-hmm.
love to talk about, angel numbers and seeing those
Mm-hmm.
numbers around us,
Mm-hmm.
and, beginning to realize that spirit is always communicating with us. It's just a matter of whether or not we are open enough to receive it, trusting enough to believe that it is spirit talking to us, because
Mm-hmm.
so many of us in past lifetimes have actually probably had full access to these gifts and were persecuted for it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, we're also decolonizing our minds and our bodies from believing that it's unsafe to be able to experience these things. It's like that it's okay to know what we know and then share it with others, and know what we know and then be prepared for what is to come. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a bruja energy, it's
Yeah.
witch energy, it's like all these,
Big
these
time.
titles and labels can be scary, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now I embrace them. I'm like, bring it on. Yes, that's what
Absolutely.
I am. That is absolutely
Yeah.
what I am.
Yeah.
That's what you are. That's what we
Yeah.
all are if we really
Mm-hmm.
want to accept it, right? It's a matter of if we accept it or are willing to trust that that's not a scary thing. It's actually
Beautiful.
where our power lies, and
Yeah.
all for it.
Yeah, big
All for
time, big time. Yeah. While you were saying that, all I could picture is the tower card, just like that deconstruction of the word witch, of bruja, of whatever you want to call it, and taking that power back and trusting and you knowing that this has always been in you, whether you want to say psychic, intuitive, whatever word you want to use, blessed, prophetic,
Yes,
prophet, like it's
exactly.
all the same thing, but it's just how you frame it. But it really calls for us to decolonize and to burn it down, to dismantle and rebuild what we individually want it to be, what we want that tower of intuition to look like within us. So
Yes. Oh my
that's
gosh.
really beautiful.
Yes, and as BIPOC, we have always had this understanding that language needs to be taken and flipped on its head and
Yeah.
repurposed to empower us. So it's like, yes, calling me a witch was a curse before, but not anymore. Now you call me a witch, I'm like, yeah,
Exactly. Okay, witch. Okay. Okay. Come through, witch.
exactly.
Come
That's the
through.
best
Come
way you could
through.
call me. Absolutely.
Yes. I love that. I love that. So, when talking about that, do you use your witch magic in your beautiful jewelry, Sesheta weaves? Do you weave some of that within your beautiful creations that you make? Because I know as somebody who wears it, I feel that magic.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, because that's where I actually began, It's
Mm,
I started when I was in my early 20s. I got because color calls me. I went into a store and I saw anything in rainbow order or in any kind of colorful order. I'm drawn to it. I'm like, "Oh, what is that? I need it." Like I don't even know what it is half the time. And that was literally what happened. I saw this bead set, and because of it was in these little glass vials. I'm a Libra sun, Taurus moon. So I am all about, aesthetics and anything
mhm,
that is beautiful in presentation. So the
mhm.
presentation was everything. It had everything I needed, and I grabbed it and I was like, I'm buying it and I'm bringing it home. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't even know what I was going to do with it, but I just knew I needed to have it. And I was sharing with a sister friend at the time. I said, I bought this beautiful bead set. I don't even know how to bead, but I
Wow.
love it. And she was like, make me a necklace. And I was like, I don't know how to make a necklace. She was like, well,
Wow.
figure it out, learn, and make it for me. And like I've said this before, on other platforms, I don't know where she is now,
Oh,
but I have
wow.
her to thank for literally sparking the inspiration in me
Beautiful.
because
An
that,
angel.
yes, I beaded that necklace for her and I have never stopped. It
Mm,
evolved into necklaces and bigger necklaces and earrings and all kinds of things. And I love weaving in symbols that have powerful meaning. The
mm,
colors, like I mentioned, have meaning. And now with
mhm.
my Reiki mastership, I can infuse Reiki energy into everything that I create, which I do
Wow.
so that when you're wearing it, you receive everything that you need. Not what I
Oh,
want you to receive, but what you need to
yes.
receive from it. And
Mm,
whether that is a compliment from strangers as you're walking on the street
mm,
feeling fly and fabulous,
mhm.
then so be it. Or
That's what you
whether it
need.
is just feeling empowered and powerful when you put it
Yeah.
on because you know what it symbolizes. That is absolutely the magic that I work with and infuse into everything that I do. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Because that's the name of your business, right? Shishetta
Yeah.
Weaves.
Sesheta
So it's
Weaves. Yes. And the full thing is actually Sesheta Weaves Rainbows, which is my IG
okay.
handle. But
Okay.
I figured, you know what? I didn't want to, I felt like that was too long, but
Mhm.
I have the rainbow symbol at
Mhm.
the end. So it's implied.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I literally take colors and weave them into these magical creations that, symbolize a message that spirit wants for you to receive.
Oh,
And I totally believe that. And because I believe it, I know it. I know it to be
yeah.
true. And so
Mhm.
every person who purchases from me, everyone who chooses to wear my art, it just
Mhm.
thrills me so much. Like the little girl in me is lit up on fire, and she is like, I did that. I made that. I created something that makes someone else feel as beautiful as it makes me feel.
Yeah.
So that is everything, everything at
Yeah.
the end of the day. So, yeah.
And as somebody who's received it, it is everything. It is everything, like I was gifted these earrings, or not gifted, but I received these earrings, and I know that it just makes me feel so powerful when I wear them. And I shouldn't say steal, but you know, we share this. I bought this for my husband for Christmas. And oh my gosh, I know he uses it for protection at work or in different places. And then I use it too. But you can feel that exchange of energy as we wear it. And with each of your pieces, y'all, like you truly invest in them because like she said, it's not just jewelry, it's energy work. And there's this beautiful, beautiful story that comes with each piece
Yeah.
that I think is that's weaved, and you can feel the magic and feel the rainbows weaved into it when you're reading it. It's just so beautiful, and you can tell there's just so much intention put into what you weave together. And I can see you not only weaving jewelry and these sacred pieces, but spiritual practices and communities and social justice and advocacy work. It's just so many weaves that you create, weaving that you do. That's just
Make the
so powerful.
tapestry larger and bigger
Yes,
and wider and far-reaching.
yes,
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 the ultimate
yes,
goal is healing the world, that
yes.
literally is what the little girl in me wants to
Mm,
see, and I believe that each and every one of us has the ability to do that if we so choose, because like you mentioned before,
Ashe.
there's so much chaos happening in the world, and there are definitely
Mhm,
forces here that don't want us to succeed. They don't want the world to thrive. They want to see it shift and change in a way that can help them maintain control. And
mhm,
so each one of us taking sovereignty over our own lives by doing self care, by listening to our intuition, by resting, by
mhm.
decolonizing our minds and wearing powerful pieces that symbolize things and
Exactly.
listening to sound healing, it just shifts everything and gives
Yeah,
us
you might have just answered my next question. How do you bring some of that into your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day practices? How can we weave some of that medicine into intuitively feeling well, on days that are good, on days that are bad? What are some daily, practices that you have worked for you that maybe it could be an invitation for some of us or myself or the audience to kind of take in?
for sure. There's so many things that I do because I'm a manifesting generator and I get bored very easily. So
Mhm.
I sticking to a routine can be a challenge for me, but I'm so grateful that I have all these tools because I can switch it up
Yeah.
and still get the benefit, even though I feel like I'm doing something different. So sometimes, in the beginning, I would fall back into really bad habits. But over time, I've learned, because of consistently practicing these things over time, I've begun to remember it's like, okay, take a deep breath. It's like, all right, I'm just going to breathe for 5 minutes. I'm just going to count to 10 and I'm just going to
Mhm.
breathe in and breathe out. Or, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm going to take a walk. I'm just going to
Mhm.
leave this space and I'm going to get some fresh air and
Mhm.
clear my head, get some
Mhm.
clean air, cool air, cold air, whatever it is,
Mhm.
some sunshine, whatever it may be, get out in nature. That is a
Mhm.
huge one of my favorite tools, honestly, is
Mhm.
getting out in nature.
Mhm.
I will take off my shoes and stand on
Mhm.
the grass. It's cold.
Mhm.
It's only
Mhm.
now warming up in the East Coast. So I haven't done that
Mhm.
in a while, but if it's warm enough, I'll step out in my socks and step on the grass and get that healing energy from the earth directly. I'll do yoga. That's another one of my, favorite practices. I'll turn on music, my favorite
Yeah.
music, and blast it really loud and try to
Yeah.
dance around and shake it off
Yeah.
and shake it out.
And I
I was,
know that there's
yeah,
some speaking of music, there's kind of depending on your mood or depending on what you needed, there's different hertz and frequencies that people can
yes.
tap into too, right?
Yes, the Solfeggio frequencies. Yes, I love them. You can Google them, you can YouTube them, and they correspond to our different chakra systems and they carry different energies that because of the connection to the Socratic system. If you're dealing with feeling ungrounded or feeling,
Mhm.
you know, just feeling shaky or restless, then I would suggest using, the root chakra energy, which I believe is 396. I have to check it. I'm going to double check it, but we're going to make sure it's down below the correct
Yes.
one. But yeah, it's like 396. And then that connects to the root energy, and that can help you feel more grounded, more rooted, more stable, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
I need heart opening, heart healing,
Mm-hmm.
I'll listen to 528, and that energy helps me to open up my heart and help me
Mm-hmm.
to feel the energy. And I feel like it's also mind over matter, because I know it's for the heart energy. It helps me to lean in more and help me to be able to be more heart open and heart inspired. And then also, like, if I need to get some downloads from spirit, then I'll listen to the crown chakra energy, and I'll put on, okay, I'm gonna remember it's 936 or 963.
Okay, sounds good. Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
We'll
then
make
I
sure that I'll
yes,
put it in the show notes for you
absolutely. We'll put
all. We'll
all
get
of
the
them
right
in there
frequency.
so you'll know what to look for. But then I know I'm gonna tap in. But actually, the one that I love the most is for 432, and it's not a solfeggio frequency. It's actually I'm not sure what they call it, but it's either way, it balances like our right and left
Ooh.
selves,
Mm.
masculine, feminine. It just helps you to come into back into balance, back into center. And when I play that, I literally feel my whole body just exhale and just release
Mm.
and settle in. And so I really suggest that one too.
432. I'm gonna
432. That's definite. That one is definitely. I know that for
Okay,
sure.
I'm gonna look into that
Um,
one for sure.
for
For
sure. Yes,
sure.
because you can play sound healing too. You can find, different sound bowl songs, and YouTube
Mhm.
University has so much, but
They
there's a
do.
lot of sound healing that you can access right now if you need
Mm.
it.
Yeah, and it's good for our kids, like, at any ages, like, when they're in the womb
Yes.
to conception, when you're calling them in, you can use them, to right after. I know that's been a practice for my daughter, to start her days is to listen to some beta music and some frequency music to really calm her mind and to calm her before she, starts her day. So that's a practice that we've been experimenting with
I
that's
love
really
that.
been helpful for her,
Yeah. Yeah, when
to
my
calm
kids,
her.
when I put them
Mhm.
to sleep, I used to have them listen to classical music. When
Beautiful.
they went to bed, and also jazz, just like
Mm,
soothing types of jazz. But that was before I even understood what
mhm,
sound was in a, intrinsic
mhm.
way. It was more of the intuitive knowledge and understanding that it would help them sleep better and
Yeah,
have their neurons replenishing and rejuvenating and just helping their brains grow in a way that would help them be more calm and cool, collected out in the world, which is so needed because
so needed.
they're the ones, the leaders of the future. We need them to
Absolutely.
be, in a better state than even we were. So,
Yeah. And what great examples, by looking at mama who's doing it, who's practicing it every day. And that feeds off, they're looking to us. They're the sponges and taking up some of that. And they're gonna release some of that beautiful magic into the world. And so by you living out, your intuitive wellness every day. Last question for you. In your definition, what does intuitive wellness mean for you at this stage of life?
mm, it means really, I just keep coming back to putting myself first,
Mm,
because knowing that we are the creators of everything, stepping into that power and that responsibility is not for the faint of heart. But when you know you have the tools, when you learn the tools, you learn what works for you, you know what works for you know how spirit likes to communicate with you, you know your superpower. When you begin to put yourself first, that intuitive wellness is practicing that every day, practicing that every time you get a moment. It doesn't even have to be a specific time, but it can be. But doing that as often as you can in each and every day is only going to make you stronger, more stable, so that no matter what is going on around you. Shit can be hitting the fan, things can be crumbling, but because you are rooted in who you are and rooted in what you know, you're going to be okay, and everything is going
Mhm.
to be okay because you're going to know
Yeah.
you're going to know what to do, you're going to know how to move, you're going to know what steps to take. So yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, oh
And
my god.
so, what do you have coming up? What do you have coming up? Are there ways that people can get rooted with you, or what do you
Absolutely.
offer as this beautiful witch that you are? Okay,
Yes.
what do you offer?
So on my website, I do offer one-on-one sessions, whether it's you need some spiritual guidance or you want your own specific sound healing dedicated to you or even
Mm,
for your family, astrological guidance as well. But I have really been leaning into these community healing sessions, and that's what I have coming up right now. I have a sound bowl session, virtual sound bowl session happening on April 1st. You can go to my website to find out more information, as well as on April 15th. So you can come and join both, or you can do
mm,
one, you can do one or the other, you can do whichever one calls to you, whichever one works in your schedule. It's totally dedicated to eclipse integration. I like to have a theme and an intention for each one. And this eclipse season is, I feel more people are aware this time, or at least that's my
for
intuitive feeling,
sure.
that more people get
Mm-hmm,
it and they're like tapping in and like,
mm-hmm,
what does this mean for me? What does this mean for the
mm-hmm,
world? And
mm-hmm.
so, eclipse energy is so much bigger than, personal manifestation. So we want to help the collective. And so this integration is only going to help the collective to absorb what we need to, release what we need to. And so that's a great way to join me, to experience a little bit of what I offer. As well as going to my website and checking out some of my wearable art, and that you can have anytime you like.
Yes, infused with some beautiful, beautiful rainbow magic. So
Yes.
the main places to connect with you would be your
On my
website,
website, yep,
Instagram. Is that where you play?
www.sheshetaweaves.com. Yep. And
Mhm.
Instagram, I technically am on Facebook really, but I'm really not there. Instagram, I can't handle too much social media nowadays. So Instagram is where you can find me at Shesheta Weaves Rainbows. And, I usually post what I'm hosting there. I post some of my creations there. And it's a great way to connect with and keep up to date with what's going on. Yeah,
Beautiful. Well, we'll make sure that we put all of that information in the show notes for you all, and
much.
definitely invite you to check out one, if not all, of Shisheta's sound healings, because they are amazing for such a time as this. This integration is needed, and so what a
Yeah.
beautiful offering that you have for the collective. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for your work in this world. I love you so much. And I am so happy to be in community with you in a sacred
Girl.
community.
Yeah. Yeah.
We bonded truly through our mentorship, the Read the Room mentorship with the Hungry Medium. And ever
Yeah.
since then, it's just been a beautiful journey of sisterhood with you.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love you and I appreciate you and I honor you and all that you do in this world. And y'all connect with this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul in her offerings. It's so needed. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I love you. I appreciate everything you're doing here, giving a platform for your other sisters who are glowing and growing. And it's only going to help you glow and grow even more. And I'm grateful to be here to witness and take part.
Oh,
Yay.
yes. Gotta heal the world, make it a better place for you
Yeah.
and for
For me. So
entire human
home.
race.
Human race,
There
forgetting the word.
are. Okay, let me not do that. But
But
we love
yes.
y'all, and
Yeah.
thank you, Shashetta. We'll stop it here. Wow. Such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful episode. I hope that you all enjoyed it and found it as beautiful as I did. If so, leave us some rainbows in the comments, letting myself and Sesheta know that you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to comment what you found most beautiful about this episode and some of maybe your biggest takeaways from the episode. If you feel called, I invite you to leave a comment and let us know. If not, just show some rainbows for support for Sesheta. And I just want to thank Sesheta once again for coming on and being my first podcast guest. So, invitation, if you all have somebody that you have found has been profound for you, like Sesheta has been for me in your intuitive wellness journey, let me know. It would be my honor to interview them. And I'm just so excited and just so lit up about the possibilities of this podcast and having some more. I have a couple of other powerful people have lined up to come on the podcast and to talk about their journeys. So until then, I just want to thank y'all for joining me on this episode of the Intuitive Wellness Experiment podcast. I hope that you found inspiration and insight in the exploration of intuitive living and wellness. Remember, your intuition is a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges and discovering your true path. I encourage you to experiment with embracing with your intuition, cultivate self-awareness, and step into your spiritual sovereignty. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. I invite you to subscribe to find out more when we have new episodes released. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified of new episodes as they come out. And feel free to share it with all that you feel might benefit. And until next time, journey in grace and compassion and trust your intuition, living authentically and empowering yourself to create a life that allows you to feel and be well. Merci beaucoup, merci en pile, and thank you for listening. Until next time.